Actually, from internship, right?
Yes.
I remember that story.
I started as an intern at KTN.
At KTN.
Yes.
And I remember these stories you used to do about business. Do you remember the one that you are holding a flat iron at the salon?
I was doing a story on, I think, the beauty business.
Yes.
And I used to enjoy doing practical stuff. I really used to enjoy business stories.
Yes.
So I remember, tonguing someone's hair.
Somebody's hair. So you've really stood the test of time as a journalist. Up until today, you're still on air.
Yes.
How do you do it? I mean, like, how are you able to just go through all this, highs, lows?
Yes.
You grow so much in different aspects and you still remain so great in doing this thing on TV.
Thank you. I think it's just to appreciate life and to be honest with yourself.
Yes.
That times you have good times, there are times you'll have bad times, and don't be embarrassed about it. You're human and you're learning every single day.
Right.
And to just love life, appreciate life as it is.
Right.
I love people, I love experiences, and every day to me, whether it's a good or bad experience, I'm learning something. And then you also have to learn how to work on improving yourself and make sure that every day you're adding value to people's lives, to communities, and you will find that you're still relevant.
Right.
Yes.
You're such a team player because, like straight even from SG, like you were one of those people who was extremely friendly to everybody.
Yes.
And up until today, just following you on Instagram, still in the studio, you're still that person who used to be that bubbly person to literally everyone. How do you think that has helped you, just remain this person who's also so gifted on air?
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've come to realize, when I see people, I see them in a different way. I see like a whole library of different experiences. You can give me your experience as a young, you're much younger than me. So when I hang out with you, Betty, I learn so many things. And you're very different from me, and we can still get along, and you teach me things about yourself.
Right.
And one of the things I tell people is that every human being carries God and a different dimension of God. So what makes us even more powerful is when we bring those different dimensions together. And it doesn't matter if someone is a god, a cook, a king, we are all carrying God. So my work is to discover this different dimension or this different side of Betty.
Yes.
And that way I get to even discover God more.
Right.
And so when you see people in a different way and you just love people and know people are going through different journeys, we are not all the same.
Right.
We can't arrive at the same time. Some people are still learning even how to be nice. And when they are mean, you're just like, God will take them through their journey. It's okay. Then life becomes so beautiful and you discover things in people you don't have. Like I remember when you first joined, there was a way that you used to just make people so happy. You'd just walk in, we're like, oh, Betty.
You used to bully me. You're being nice about
I wasn't bullying you, I was preparing you for the world. No, I used to be like, excuse me, you intern, come here.
She used to call me like, you intern, come here.
Why are you coming so late? Who told you you can just walk into the office?
Goodness.
I was preparing you.
Yeah, no, actually she did. But I remember you calling me all the time. Like, harassing me. Kujapa wewe.
You think this is a hotel? Ulikuja Nairobi tourism.
Oh my goodness.
Pesa.
Yeah, and so I was like, she was one of the people who, not just being scared.
Yes.
Like, I know this one.
Yeah.
She can say literally anything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And but you are really kind, I think, to everybody.
Yes.
And some jokes that I can't say.
Don't say those jokes.
I can't say, no. Yeah.
But you see that, and that's the thing. Life is for enjoying and experiencing. We can now, like many years, we are still good friends.
Right.
We are still sisters. I see people, especially in the workplace, as sisters. So I remember, like you, I used to be like, Betty, and I know sometimes I would be so strict.
Yes.
And I'd be like, because this girl is so sweet. I used to find you so sweet, and I didn't want people to take advantage of you. Yeah, so I used to be so protective.
Very protective. Especially to the guys.
I know, I'd be like, leave that, I'd be shouting, leave that girl alone, she's innocent, leave her. Because you came so innocent. I know you people,
I'm still innocent.
I know people won't believe this, but there was a time Betty was innocent.
I am still innocent. But are you talking about? Okay.
So I used to feel like, let me protect.
Yeah, you really did that.
And this girl, and I really used to see the potential.
Yeah. And
I remember the first time even I saw you reading news, and
yes.
we're with Mr. Katua Nzile,
Yes,
our former boss,
yes.
and I was like, this girl will go places. Yeah. And you have.
You didn't tell me that those days, but no.
Yes.
But you really helped me to model into the person that I am today. Honestly,
Yes.
I have to just say thank you so much.
Karibu.
Thank
You make
so
us so
much.
proud.
Yeah?
Karibu,
Let's go back to our conversation. Now, Cynthia, imagine to say you started as an intern, went into one of the finest business news anchors, right?
Yes.
You left, and especially actually when you left, I really felt alone.
Yes.
But I feel like you had already given me the support, so I was able to stand on my own when you left, SG at that time.
Yes.
And then you go, and then you become this political strategist.
Yes.
You help Muhammadu Buhari win the election.
Yes.
As part of his team.
Yes.
You start writing for Forbes.
Yes.
You win the Diageo Award.
Yes.
And then now evangelist.
Yes.
First of all, how did all these things prepare you to do what you've added as a title to your name as an evangelist?
Yeah, I think that one of the interesting things I've come to learn in life, and I tell people, relax. Before you were created, God knew. And sometimes we want to run and do so many things. Just take your time. And whatever you have in front of you, deal with it, learn what you need to learn, because God knows you. I think if many years ago, even until 5 years ago, if God told me that I was going to lead a ministry and church, I would be like, there is no way, God. Yes.
Even me, I was like, Cynthia.
I'd be like, God, there is no way.
Yes.
But He really prepared me, and I've been looking at my life, and I can see, as He was taking me, for example, to work at KTN, He taught me how to communicate.
Yes.
He taught me how to speak. As a news anchor, you have to control, for example, your breathing, making me a better preacher. And then also after that, He took me, as I was working in the political spaces, I then learned how to live with different kinds of people. And then also now after that, I even worked in Uganda in the police and even with the army. That really taught me a lot about discipline, which is and for me, even as I train people in the church, it's a bit military with a lot of discipline. So I've been seeing that, and then the interesting thing is I see it work for me in the workplace. The things I do in church also works for me in the workplace, and I've learned not to put myself in a box, that I can do many things. I run different businesses. I'm in housing. I'm also in fabrics, and so I've learned.
That is really nice.
Thank you.
That is
Thank you
really
so
nice.
much. So I've learned not to put myself in a box, to explore who I am, and then to have faith. Even when I realized God, and I think I feel like He tricked me into ministry. I wasn't planning to get into ministry.
Like, I'm wondering, at what point did you hear, like people normally say, I had the voice of God
telling me go.
Telling me go. It's time, Cynthia. Like, at what point did you go through maybe a difficult period that maybe you became closer to Him, then you decided to what happened?
So
the
all my life I was born again. I grew up in a Christian home, but I was the born again for most Kenyans. We all have a Christian name. We all go to church, and I would go to church on Sunday, give sadaka, and feel like I've done my part. And then in Uganda, I went through a very difficult period. And in that time, when everything...
What was happening?
So what happened was, I was, for a very long time, ever since I started working in political jobs in Kenya, your life changes, your status, you're now in government, you have all the comforts. So I did it. I did Kenya, I did Tanzania, I did Nigeria. Nigeria was very successful, and you grow with much more power and the connections and all. So I'll go to Uganda. We did the elections for NRM, we won, and then I stayed back to work with the Uganda police. And I went through a difficult time because I wasn't paid for some time by the police. The political party paid me very well, but the police, there were some delays. And then after that, unfortunately, my boss was fired. And when my boss was being fired, everyone around, especially in our our office, people were being fired and arrested. And now you're in a, and they're telling you you can't leave the country. First thing you're told, you can't leave your country, and you can't leave the country, you can't change your number. I still continued working even after that for 1 year, but I hadn't been paid. And I was uncertain because people used to be picked up at night and you just read in the news so-and-so was arrested. So I never used to know. I used to sleep with my clothes on so that...
Ready to be arrested?
Ready to be arrested. Jeez. And if I would hear sirens, I'm like, they've come for me. And I wanted to make sure with I look at least good in the photos. And then sure, at least I'm representing.
You have to
people can see how she's so presentable. And then so after that, things just started going down. I still worked for 1 year, but I was still not receiving my payment.
So how are you surviving?
So at least they used to give me housing. I had housing. I had a car being fueled by police and all that. And so there was some money that once in a while when things are really bad, I would be given. But it meant that I used up a lot of my savings. And then now it got to a point where things really got bad at work. And so I decided, let me seek God. And also I realized, despite all my great achievements, sometimes you get to a point where it's pointless. And I remember we used to get a lot of invites to State House. And Uganda has the most beautiful State House in Entebbe, facing even the lake. It's beautiful. And so I remember being invited, and I told my friend, here, you can go. And they were like, how come you're no longer getting excited? And I was like, I don't know why, I feel lifeless. And so I decided, let me seek for a deeper meaning of life. What is life all about? Because how can I have all these things and feel so empty and lost? And then things had also, the workplace started going south, and I just spent hours with God praying and fasting. And then one day God started giving me messages for people. And so the next morning I just would call people and say, God has told me to tell you 1, 2, 3. And then that's when people begin to tell you, by the way, Cynthia, you're a prophet. And then I realized I had never lost an election. And I remember Nigeria was a very big one. Even Kenya, people spoke about it because I was then working for opposition. And they said, Cynthia, you cannot remove a sitting president. But we won. And people would ask me, how did you know? All the candidates I've backed I've never lost an election. And so...
Until you don't say, I've never lost an election.
I've never lost an election. And I always know who will win. And then I realized, actually, it's a gift that it's a spiritual gift that I have. And so things started adding up, and I realized when I gave my life to Christ when I was 5 years old, that's when I started. And I used to tell people things about their life. And so I realized, God is calling me, and I realized I enjoy praying. And so I started going online, telling people, join me, let's pray. And then before I knew it, people said, open a WhatsApp group. And we prayed for 100 days for this nation. By the time we finished praying, people said, in fact, this is a ministry. Be introducing us as a ministry. And I was like, no, I was not planning to do this. We are shutting down. But the people refused. And then we had a ministry called RIG, and they wanted to open up in East Africa. I told them, I have the people, take them. I want to go back to normal work.
And I think we have a clip. I don't know if you can play for us. The clip just at the 30 seconds.
Okay. Let's see how Cynthia does this.
Let's see how Cynthia preaches from the pulpit.
Now for playing that, mtatoa sadaka.
All right. Okay, let's go. All right.
Almond. Do you have the ability to see the almond tree? To see the souls of men that are so precious to God? Does your heart cry on Friday praying for souls because you want to depopulate hell? It is the thing that gives me energy and strength. Even when my eyes are red, I will teach Bible study. We must depopulate hell. I don't do it for sadaka. It is the pain. When I imagine people will gnash their teeth forever. When I imagine even here on earth, there are people not living their full potential. You look at people, you see their greatness. Continue to ask the Lord for the prophetic. You will be so surprised, even who you're sitting next to, but the enemy has really come for them. Do you feel that pain and that urgency?
Wow. I don't know. It just touched me, like just seeing you doing this, Cynthia. My goodness.
And that's
why do I feel like crying?
I know, even I feel like crying.
I feel like crying because I'm like,
that's why
oh my goodness,
ministry.
like after all these years.
Yes.
Do you feel like this? Okay. Okay. Oh, man.
I should get you the tissue.
We need tissues here. My goodness, I'm just really proud of you. Just to see you like doing this for God and for the people. It's really encouraging. It's really encouraging.
And thank you for always supporting me. Betty. Even when I have any project, I always see you just supporting me. It means so much.
And let me ask you, like, how do you prepare for, like, for a sermon? And also, how was the first experience of you standing, you know, in front of everybody and preaching? Did you, like, is it a skill that you had to get over there in case I want to also start ministry at some point?
I'll train you, Betty. You'd make a good preacher.
I'll make a good preacher.
Pastor Betty, how are you?
Oh, very good.
So the interesting...
God is good.
You have it. You see, you already have it.
The
way I've been a guest anchor, there has been a guest anchor here.
I know.
Even you will be a guest preacher in our church.
Guest preacher. But then I'll come to church. I'll come to church.
Karibu.
You just moved me, honestly, with that clip. I feel like...
And that's why
How
we
was
preach.
it?
And the interesting thing is, every Sunday, or even when I'm invited to preach in a place, when I look at the congregation, I've never felt like I've arrived. I'm always like, God, I can't believe you're using me. Even when people give testimonies, I'm like, God, I cannot believe that, yes, you used me for that. It's very humbling to be the mouthpiece of God, to speak and to reach out to people and to see how God desperately loves people and he gives you a message for them that completely changes and shifts their life. And that clip that you played, I feel like crying because that's why I do ministry. And when I'm preparing for a service, I'm thinking, how can I liberate people? God, use me so that when people sit there, they'll understand why am I in, for example, year in, year out, my businesses are not working out, or I have a long health issue, or I've seen patterns in my family, negative ones, that I just can't get rid of. And so every time I'm thinking, how can I communicate? And I thank God I'm in PR. Because for me, when I teach a word, and I love teaching the Bible, and I teach even sometimes chapter by chapter, every Monday to Wednesday, because I want people, I just don't want to preach and feel I've arrived. I want people to understand what God is saying, and I want people to see how the word can change their life and profit their life, because Jesus came to give us life and life in abundance. And my work is to show off life in abundance. You should be seeing me in private jets. I'm usually in private jets. It's because scripture has said life in abundance. You should be seeing me living with great health because Jesus came to give me. And so I also want to show people what I have discovered in Jesus. You can also discover the same through reading scripture. And as I teach people, I see people's lives change. So even as I teach people, I have practical, like this sermon has practical bits. So I teach a point and I say practical, and I even have taglines so that people remember a certain line. Even if they won't remember the whole sermon, there are things they will remember.
Hey, I love it. I love it.
Karibu kanisa.
Nakuja kanisa.
Karibu sana.
We're about to wrap up. But there's a question one of the fans alisema nikuulize. Hata mimi nataka kukuuliza.
Niulize.
You know, I'm proud of you. Like now you're an evangelist. You're doing God's work. Lakini sasa, I mean, sasa mimi nataka kusimamia harusi.
Inakuja.
Nataka kusimamia harusi.
Inakuja.
But tumekuwa tukingoja since sijui when.
Unajua,
there are just so many guys out there, your hearts have been broken.
You know,
so you're taken.
If I talk too much about it, the DMs. Every time I talk about and I'd say I'm not married, the DMs are too much. Yeah, so wacha tu tusiongelele hiyo. I cannot handle DMs again. I'm not married.
So kuna space ya
I'm not married. Kuna space for marriage. Ule yuko akijitolea marry me sawa, akisleki shida yake. Akisleki
shida yake tunawasewa na what size.
Kwanza let me say hata in English. So whoever is there, if he marries me, fine. If someone else comes before he asks for my hand in marriage, too bad. Because he's not Swahili speaking. So I'm hinting.
Gentlemen, if you're watching this, I think you should have done this a long time ago.
Cynthia is going.
On it. Oh, he's not from Kenya. That's why you got to say it.
Yeah.
Paka ukaenda unafanya kwa political strategy na bado unatafuta watu.
Marriage, unajua marriage si kitu ya kuchezea.
Come. Tell me about it.
Marriage is you have to be very sure. You have to make sure it's the right person. Asikutoe from your purpose. Yeah.
Does he support your ministry?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and everything that you know, my businesses and even who I am as Cynthia.
Okay.
Sometimes I can be complicated, but he's very understanding.
It's a Kamba thing.
Right?
All right. Tell something to our lovely audience. Leave them with a word.
To our lovely audience, I know you guys love me, so put pressure and send Betty messages. I should come again. And to my best friend, Catherine, I told you I'll send you salams. Lots of salams. I love you, Anduma Musi.
Thank you so much. It's such a lovely. But thank you so much.
Na bado after this, we have an after party with Betty. But hatuambi, watakatia. And then as we go crazy, hatutaki muone. Mtaziaka kwa gossip columns. So after this, we are not inviting.
Instagram or Facebook. Guys, also just follow Cynthia on Facebook and you'll be able to see the lovely sermons.
Yes.
Ama tukutane kwa church yake. Nitakapo mbele.
This Friday. this Sunday. Na pia kesho we are in town. We are preaching the gospel from 9 a.m. Mkuja hapo archives. We'll be there. If you want to see me in action. We didn't tell guys also I'm in taekwondo. Anyway, if you want to see the action, I'm tempted to kick Betty. I'm tempted. My mom is watching. If my mom was not watching,
unaweza fanya taekwondo.
I need to share my
What can she do? What can she do? All right, guys, thank you so much. You can't cook chapati, don't worry.
But I know where to buy fresh ones.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you just buy. But to the gentleman, please marry this girl.
Quickly.
Me, I want to talk to Mamia Harusi.
Asante.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for watching. It's been such a fantastic show. We'll see you again next week, God willing. But tomorrow we have Say What from 9 p.m. Of course, with Pastor Sue. Unajua Pastor Sue? Ule wa twa.
Namjua sana. She's my BFF. Hata wewe si ufanana.
Kidogo light skin. All right, good night, guys. Wewe unaweza ongea.